It's Nolan. Shit is crazy out here, bro. Niggas can't get no money. Niggas ain't working. What the fuck we supposed to do? Yeah. Living life as an outlaw. Will I rise or will I fall? They got me standing on my pride in this city where the skinny niggas die. I just wanna stay alive. Money comes and money goes. Will I get to heaven when the horns blow? If God's black, I'm hoping I get to meet him. After spending all my days on this earth chasing freedom. Getting to it, I'm living, dodging the tombstone. House full of my homies like it's a group home. Bread coming like croutons for new flows. Independent, no contract, boy, I'm a boost phone. Loose souls, no direction with my imperfections. Need protection from the pigs, they be interjecting. Been a goat, but the Lord be my only shepherd. I'm never sleeping, I don't know how I get energetic. Hey, minute, I'm reminded I ain't rich. Swear it's hard to be legit from moving water like a fish. Get a check, I can't spend it, gotta save it for the rent. Masked up when I leave, pray my mama don't get sick. Shit, folks dying, they funerals unattended. Our president, the apprentice, no wonder I don't feel represented. Yeah, about to bomb on one of these biggest, I promise it's no forgiveness. I'm grinding to get this chicken, yeah, I ain't no leader, but they follow. I refuse to live in sorrow, I just hope to see tomorrow, dawg. Yeah, the streets will turn a nigga hollow. Don't really fuck with the bottle, but pour me up some Moscato, yeah. Living life as an outlaw. Will I rise or will I fall? They got me standing on my pride in this city where the skinny niggas die. I just wanna stay alive. Money comes and money goes. Will I get to heaven when the horns blow? If God's black, I'm hoping I get to meet him. After spending all my days on this earth chasing freedom. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well. That intro song you just heard is called Outlaw. That's by your boy J Nolan, of course. That's on the hook and on the verses. You know what I'm saying? That record's from a project called Price of Admission, which is out on all platforms. It came out during the pandemic, so that's why you hear me talking about the president being the apprentice. Y'all know who that is. That nigga's running again. Fuck him. For everybody that ordered their Southside Nolan CDs, I want to give a big shout out to y'all. I greatly appreciate y'all. We got a few orders in. We have Desmond. Shout out to Desmond. Let's see who else we got on here. We've got Nola. Oh yeah, of course. Shout out to Nola. You put it on my radar that you wanted to get it from the beginning. Let's see who else we got on here. Shout out to Zoe. And I think everybody else I've already shouted y'all out, but I greatly appreciate y'all. Y'all have no idea how much I appreciate it. I will get those shipped out to y'all this week. Okay. Now, the reason why we're talking right now is because Diddy. We've been covering Diddy since the end of last year, honestly, with the whole Cassie thing that came out. Then there was the Lil Rod thing that came out at the top of the year. We've been following this thing for a minute now. But now Diddy has officially been arrested in New York City. I was wondering what the hell he was doing out there in New York all week. Last week, he just kept popping up. He popped up with G-Dep. He popped up over here. Some nigga popped out and said, hey, anybody fuck with him while he out here, we gonna go up for him. We gonna knock niggas out. I'm like, what the hell is he, what is he doing? Is he getting his affairs in order? What the hell is happening here? Well, seems he was getting himself ready because he knew he was about to go into the can, all right? So according to Rolling Stone, and we do have a copy of the actual indictment from the feds, so we're going to go over that in just a few, but we're going to go through this article first, all right? Sean Combs arrested after grand jury indictment. Okay? Combs' arrest comes nearly a year after R&B singer Cassie filed an trafficking and abuse lawsuit, and after the mogul's homes were raided in late March. Sean Diddy Combs was arrested in Manhattan After a grand jury indicted the hip-hop mogul, authorities said. The arrest follows Homeland Security's raids on the Bad Boy founder's homes in late March, seemingly triggered by a wave of abuse lawsuits against him. It was last November that Combs' former girlfriend, the R&B singer Cassie, filed an explosive trafficking and abuse lawsuit against him that made global headlines. He reached a private settlement with her one day later, but the legal fallout only grew. 8 more women and 1 man have since come forward to sue Combs with allegations ranging from trafficking to SA. The exact charges Combs is now facing were not revealed initially, but the prosecution is being led by the Southern District of New York, who confirmed the news. They stated, earlier this evening, federal agents arrested Sean Combs based on a sealed indictment filed by the SDNY. Damian Williams, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District, said in a statement, "We expect to move to unseal the indictment in the morning, and we'll have more to say at that time." After the arrest, Combs' lawyer said he was disappointed by the SDNY's decision to pursue what he called an unjust prosecution. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the black community. He is an imperfect person, but he is not a criminal. That is what his lawyer says. Be clear. That's not my thoughts. I didn't come up with that. Seems that the show Empire was giving us an intimate glimpse into what type of shit he had going on in real life. Okay? They say, to his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. Okay? Douglas Wigner, who was Cassie's attorney, said in a statement that neither he nor Cassie would have a comment about Diddy's arrest at this time. The lawyer representing accusers Liza Gardner, Rodney Lil Rod Jones, and April Lampros, in their separate SA lawsuits filed against Combs, told Rolling Stone that he was not surprised. This long-awaited arrest of Sean Combs is the first step for our clients in receiving justice, Mr. Tyrone Blackburn said. He says, "We leave the criminal aspect of this case in the hands of the people and the justice system. As for the civil cases, we await our time for the facts to reveal themselves and seek the justice our clients deserve. We also anticipate more victims coming forward." Interesting. We knew this was coming. The evidence is very clear and it's only a matter of time. This is an important step towards justice for all of Mr. Combs' victims, including my clients. In early July, NBC News reported a grand jury had been hearing evidence in relation to the criminal investigation. Federal agents executed a search warrant on Combs' homes on March 25th, swarming his Los Angeles and Miami properties, reportedly seizing Combs' phones after officials pulled up on him. Not pulled up on him. Rolling Stone, you're talking about pulling up on a nigga. At Miami Opa-locka Airport. Another Combs attorney, Aaron Dyer, called the raids a gross overuse of military-level force and a witch hunt based on meritless accusations made in civil lawsuits. Now, if y'all can recall, those of y'all that were here back in May, Rolling Stone published a 6-month investigation of their own, uncovering a previously unreported allegation of violence against a woman on Howard's campus. New details of alleged physical aggression and claims that Combs had harassed in a very inappropriate way. We're just trying to be smart about how we say these things. A freelance employee at a 2001 party. Several people who spoke to Rolling Stone described Combs as a serial predator who used his fame, fortune, industry status, and reputation as a fun-loving party host to hide a volatile temper and disturbing narcissistic behavior for decades. Okay? So we went over that Rolling Stone investigation. We talked about the former girlfriend that he had at Howard, who he was allegedly very abusive to, even allegedly beating this woman up in front of a group of students on Howard's campus, and nobody did shit. Okay. Combs' fall from grace began with Cassie's lawsuit, where she claimed that Combs routinely physically attacked her and forced her to have drug-fueled intercourse with male sex workers during arrangements that he called freak-offs during their 10-year relationship. She also detailed a 2016 physical assault at a Los Angeles hotel after one of these freak-offs, which was later confirmed by an unearthed hotel surveillance video that shows Combs chasing after her. He's seen throwing her to the ground and kicking her before he attempts to drag her away. Nigga should have been evacuated around that time. He later throws a glass vase in her direction and it explodes on the wall. Although Combs' attorney previously called Ventura's 35-page lawsuit a shakedown riddled with baseless and outrageous lies, Combs did come out and issue an apology after the video surfaced. So what kind of shakedown is it when we've got physical evidence? Okay. So we're not going to go through all of this, but just a few days ago, Don Richard from Danity Kane also came out with a lawsuit of her own, corroborating many of the stories and telling her own about how Diddy was very handsy with her in numerous occasions, was verbally abusive, and overall manipulating her during her time of working with him at Bad Boy Entertainment. We will now go to the actual indictment. Okay? So give me a moment here so I can share my screen with y'all. Y'all know how we do. It's been a while, but we're going to go through it. So give me a second. Let me put myself, hell no, I got all these goddamn, hide all them goddamn tabs. Well, y'all know I be doing my researcher. All right, let me put myself in the corner and we shall proceed. Whoa, let's not quote him. All right. We've got the United States District Court, Southern District of New York versus Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Diddy, PD, Love, Diddler, and etc. Count 1, racketeering conspiracy. The grand jury charges. Okay, for decades, Sean Combs, the defendant, abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Remember, this is from the feds putting this on him. Sean Combs, the defendant, operated his business headquartered at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles under a variety of United States-based corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global. Corporate entities in the Combs business included, among other things, record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits business, marketing agency, and a television network and media company. At all times relevant to this indictment, Sean Combs, the defendant, engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals. This abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performance of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. At times, Combs and others acting at his discretion, or his direction, made arrangements for women and commercial sex workers to fly to Combs' location. Combs ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, and using intimidation and violence. Physical abuse by Sean Combs was recurrent and widely known. On numerous occasions from at least in or about 2009 and continuing for years, Combs assaulted women by, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. Terrible fucking human being. Disgusting, nigga. You said you wasn't Big Red on the Breakfast Club. You are certainly that. These assaults were at times witnessed by others and included one instance at a Los Angeles hotel in or about March 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman as she was attempting to leave. That was Cassie. When a member of the hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure their silence. Combs' violence was also not limited to these women. It extended to his employees, witnesses to his abuse, and others. Sean Combs, the defendant, used the Combs business, including certain employees, to carry out, facilitate, and cover up his abuse and commercial sex. Those employees, including security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors and other close associates, acted as Combs intermediaries, and their conduct was facilitated and assisted by Combs' control of the Combs business. The Combs enterprise, from at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of the filing of this indictment, Sean Combs and others known and unknown were members and associates of a criminal organization, the Combs Enterprise. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other activities, trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to encourage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The Combs Enterprise included its leadership, its members, and its associates constituted an enterprise as defined by Title 18 United States Code. That is a group of individuals associated, in fact, although not a legal entity. This should be a motherfucking RICO case, be honest. The Combs Enterprise consisted of Sean Combs, entities within the Combs business, including but not limited to Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global, individuals employed by and associated with the Combs business, and others known and unknown. Okay? This enterprise constituted an ongoing organization whose members function as a continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving the objectives of the Combs Enterprise. They engaged in and its activities affected interstate and foreign commerce. The Combs Enterprise operated in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere at all relevant times. The defendant was the leader of this enterprise. Sean Combs and others known and unknown participated in unlawful and other activities related to the conduct of the Combs Enterprise affairs. These individuals included Combs business employees such as the security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors, as well as other close associates. So is everybody going down with this nigga, or is it just him? Because we got known and unknown, but they names ain't in this motherfucker. The purposes of the Combs Enterprise includes the following: operating a global business in the media, entertainment, and lifestyle industries, including, among other things, record labels, record studio, apparel line, alcohol. We went through this before. Preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power. Okay, so now the purpose is to enhance the power, reputation, and brand of this man, a musician, entrepreneur, and figure in the entertainment industry. Enriching members and associates of the enterprise, including its leader, Combs, and in particular those who demonstrated loyalty to Combs, willingness to conceal his crimes. Preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power of the Combs Enterprise, including the power of its leader through violence, use of firearms, threats of violence, coercion, and verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. They were also responsible for fulfilling the personal desires of Combs, particularly those related to his sexual gratification, including the exploitation of women and the use of commercial sex workers. Enabling Combs and other members and associates of the Combs Enterprise to engage in unlawful acts of violence, including sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics distribution, and other crimes, and concealing the commission of such acts. Y'all bear with me for a second. I gotta fucking... All right, let's pick up where we left off here. Um, Securing absolute loyalty from members of the Combs enterprise, including through acts of violence and threats, protecting the Combs enterprise and its members and associates, including Combs, from detection and prosecution by law enforcement authorities through acts of intimidation, manipulation, bribery, threats of retaliation against individuals who witnessed said crimes by members and associates of the enterprise. So people that worked for Diddy, of course, they were commissioned to go threaten others that may have witnessed, so all of his behavior could have been maintained. Okay? Let's see. Among the means and methods by which Sean Combs, the defendant, and other members and associates of his enterprise conducted and participated in the conduct of the affairs included the following. I'm not really trying to read through all this same shit. All right, well, okay, we're getting to the freak-offs. Okay. Gee, damn. The freak-offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. In arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. Freak-offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days, and often involved multiple commercial sex workers. During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes, unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept these videos he filmed of them engaging in sexual acts with commercial sex workers. After freak-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug usage. Did not know about that part. So you're depleting them of all their energy, drugging them up, keeping them yiked. And I don't want to be funny about this because some people were participating in this stuff against their will. But then you gonna go and put an IV in them and say, okay, baby, let me get you some more fluids so you can get back. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. Members of the associates of the Combs enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors and etc., they facilitated these freak-offs by, among other things, booking hotel rooms, stocking the hotel rooms in advance with the required freak-off supplies, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. Cleaning the hotel rooms after these freak-offs to try to mitigate room damage, and arranging for travel of said victims, commercial sex workers, and Combs to and from these freak-offs, resupplying Combs with his requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay the commercial sex workers, and scheduling the delivery of these IV fluids. In or about March 2024, during searches of Combs' residence in Miami, Florida, Los Angeles, law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. 1,000! Jesus! Combs subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse to cause the victims to engage in these freak-offs. Combs maintained control over his victims through, among other things, physical violence, promises of career opportunities, granting and threatening to withhold financial support, and by other coercive means, including tracking their whereabouts, dictating the victim's appearance, monitoring their medical records, controlling their housing, and supplying them with controlled substances. Now, this is where things get a bit interesting to me, right? Because I saw Charlemagne earlier was basically saying, you know, if Diddy's going to go down for these freak-offs, then there's probably going to be a lot of people in entertainment that are going to be revealed in this footage, and they're going to have to go down with him too. But the thing is, how many of these people were under this coercion, right? Whether they were being physically, encroached upon, those that were under the guise of career opportunities coming their way, those that were being threatened, those that were supposed to receive money for other things, perhaps the work that they were doing for him in actual studio sessions. However, he's holding that money against them, saying, hey, I'll pay you if you take part in these freak-offs, right? How many of these people were having their whereabouts tracked, right? Dictating the victim's appearance. Those are probably going to be mostly people that are closer to him, the Cassies and others. Monitoring medical records. So if you go to the hospital and check yourself in, he's got resources that can keep track of that, right? Controlling your housing and supplying with controlled substances. So this is a lot. This is an elaborate situation. During and separate from freak-offs, Combs, among other things, hit, kicked, threw objects, and dragged victims by their hair. These assaults often resulted in injuries that took days or weeks to heal. Combs also threatened victims' careers and livelihoods, including if they resisted participating. Victims believed they could not refuse Combs' demands without risking their financial or job security or without repercussions in the form of physical or emotional abuse. Combs also used the sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings. So even with the recordings, he say, hey, you go against me, I'm going to leak it out, what you've been doing with me. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including Combs' security personnel, at times carried firearms. On more than one occasion, Combs himself carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten others, including victims of and witnesses to his abuse. In or about March 2024, during searches of his homes in Miami, Los Angeles, law enforcement seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, as well as a drum magazine. And I don't think you're supposed to be defacing the serials. Okay? Mr. Puffy, you can't be defacing the corn puffs. Okay? Members and associates of the Combs enterprise enabled Combs' control of other victims by following his directions regarding financial payments to victims, advancing or suppressing victims' career opportunities, and acquiring the controlled substances Combs used to keep them compliant. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise at times witnessed Combs' violence toward the victims or the victims' injuries caused by Combs without intervening. And we just got Don Richard coming out saying that she literally saw Diddy physically assault Cassie while she was trying to cook him breakfast, threw a pan that was cooking eggs at her. Her and Kalina were allegedly in there. They saw this. They witnessed it. She wanted to intervene. Kalina said, no, we getting the fuck up out of here. We also have Kalina coming out and saying, hey, Don, I disagree. We shared locations. We were in some of the same places, but my experience was not the same as yours, and I did not witness what you witnessed. Kalina, don't protect that nigga. He going down. Okay? Cause you ain't around, baby. His whole world's upside down. Now, hey, y'all better leave Miss Mary J the motherfucker alone, okay? We need Monet, okay? Now, I ain't gonna say I don't give a fuck what she did, because if she took part in this shit and she was part of the, rounding up victims and shit, do what you gotta do. But goddamn, Mary, this been your guy. 30 years. You know something. Monet Tejada. Anyway. When employees, witnesses to his abuse, or others threaten Combs' authority or reputation, Combs and members and associates of the enterprise engaged in acts of violence, threats of financial and reputational harm, and verbal abuse. These acts of violence included kidnapping and arson. Jesus. In addition, on multiple occasions, Combs threw both objects and people, as well as hit, dragged, choked, and shoved others. This nigga was throwing people. When Combs' authority or reputation was threatened by the possibility of negative pub or legal or law enforcement action against him, including in or about late 2023 following public allegations of Combs' crimes, Combs and members and associates of the enterprise pressured witnesses and victims, including through attempted bribery, to stay silent and not report what they experienced or knew to law enforcement. Now think about those that received royalties from Diddy late last year. You think he was giving them niggas they motherfucking publishing back for nothing? Or was it, because RBO Day said The promise of publishing royalties came with an NDA to never speak on Diddy again in life. That's a not so subtle way of saying shut the fuck up. Kept that shit for collateral his whole life and said, hey, if everything goes down, baby, we gonna give them their money back. We gonna give them a little something. On phone calls, Combs and other members and associates of the enterprise, among other things, provided these victims and witnesses with a false narrative of events in an effort to conceal his crimes. Combs caused these calls to be recorded on at least 2 occasions. We've even got the racketeering conspiracy here from at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of filing of this indictment. Sean Combs and others. Let's get past some of the legality mumbo jumbo here. Let's see here. Multiple acts of kidnapping, chargeable under the following provisions of state law. We have multiple acts involving arson. We've got multiple acts of bribery. Multiple acts indictable under Title 18 U.S. Code. What else we got here? You have transportation and inducement to travel for purposes of prostitution and other illegal sex activities. Multiple offenses involving possession with intent to distribute. You're doing and selling drugs, such as cocaine, oxycodone, alprazolam, some shit, hey, that look like methamphetamine to me. Some other shit, gamma hydroxybutyric acid and ketamine. These are some strong drugs, and I can only imagine because I don't use none of them. What the fuck? It was part of the conspiracy that Sean Combs agreed that a conspirator would commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activity in the conduct of the affairs of this Combs enterprise. This is some crazy shit. We're going to skip some of this stuff because there's a lot of, the same shit up in here. So his second count is S trafficking by fraud, force, or coercion. We talked enough about that. He's got count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution. You've got forfeiture allegations. What is this? As a result of committing the offense alleged in count 1, the defendant shall forfeit to the United States, pursuant to Title 18, any and all interests in securities of, claims against, and property or contractual rights of any kind affording a source of influence over the enterprise named and described herein, which the defendant established, operated, controlled, conducted, and participated in the conduct. So he's forfeiting ownership of his enterprise and his assets. Yep. As a result of committing offense, Diddy shall forfeit to the United States any and all property, real and personal, involved in, used, or intended to use to commit or facilitate commission of said offense, any and all property traceable to such property, any and all property, real and personal, constituting or derived from proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of said offense, including but not limited to a sum of money in U.S. currency, representing the amount of property involved in said offense and proceeds traceable to the commission of said offense. So they're taking your money and your property. Okay? If any of the above described forfeitable property as a result of any act or omission of the defendant cannot be located upon the exercise of due diligence, has been transferred to, sold, deposited with a third person. They taking your shit, brother. You're losing it all. That's what we're going with here. Now we've got U.S. Attorney Mr. Damian Williams here. And he did an interview or a press conference of sorts, speaking on what the feds have recovered. Now, we talked about some of it in that indictment here, but here is video evidence of attorney Damian Williams coming out and saying what they found, and included in the 1,000 bottles of baby oil, lubricant, firearms, and things. He also reveals they have seized evidence of the actual freak-offs. Okay? So you can only imagine what would be going on in that. And if they have any tapes that show physical violence, that would be, whoa. I don't want to see none of that shit. I'm not a glutton for none of this shit. But it's getting dangerous out here. I'm gonna go ahead and let him speak for.
As part of this investigation, in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs' residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs' electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether. Here are some of the items that we recovered during the searches. As you can see here, this is a drum magazine, large capacity, and it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well we recovered 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one of the AR-15s, and you can see right here the serial number has been thoroughly defaced. Another picture of more ammunition and parts of 2 AR-15s right there. Now, I want to be clear about 2 things. First, this office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be. No one should doubt our commitment on that. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York. Second, we are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
Hey, man, well, my nigga said we are not done. All I can think about is I'm aging myself here. Y'all remember them Cassidy freestyles back in like 2004, 2005? Cassidy was going to all the radio stations freestyling and Swiss Beats was in the background. We're not done. We're not done. Full surface. We're not done. Cass, talk to him. Shit. I'm not laughing at you, sir. I'm merely laughing with you. The party is continuing, right? All right, so that's what we've got on Diddy as of yet. This is a huge situation. A lot of people did not think he was actually going to get arrested. A lot of people, hey, for all you, I don't even know how to identify you people, but for all you, they taking down a black man and y'all are enjoying the plight of a black man, fuck out of here, okay? What I would advise you to do is to call all of your local grocers and see how you could possibly obtain a bag of baby dicks to eat, okay? Because I don't have nothing for you. I don't want to hear about no goddamn, I don't want to hear about no motherfucking black man nothing. Oh, what about hey, we got Epstein, whack. We got Weinstein, whack. Diddy can go, okay? And whoever else needs to go, I hope in my days we all get to see them motherfuckers too. There is no omission, okay? No omission. if this is the type of activity you take part in, I want to see everybody grovel under the gravel, okay? So let's be clear here on that. Don't come around here with that black man shit for this particular situation. This ain't that. There's enough black men and women out here that deserve your actual, fight, actual defense. These niggas ain't that. All right? Save it. Okay? Now, new information here, and I don't know how real this is, but we'll see, is stating that Diddy and his defense team are proposing a $50 million bail package. Okay? The proposed package says here, the defense proposes the following bail package. A, $50 million bond, co-signed by Sean Combs, his mother, his sister, the mother of his oldest daughter, and his 3 adult sons. So all his relevant family are co-signing this. It will be secured by the equity in Mr. Combs' residence located at 2 West Star Island in Miami, Florida. Okay, so he will be putting up his home. The appraised value of this home is about $48 million. The home is unencumbered. In anticipation of this bail hearing on August 20, 2024, Mr. Combs paid off the remaining mortgage of about $18 million so that the home could be used to secure a bond and be free of a mortgage. Man, that nigga dropped $18 million now? Ooh. Ooh. It will be secured by the equity of Mr. Combs' mother's home, located at 450 Alton Road in Miami, Florida. Mr. Combs will travel to be restricted to the Southern District of Florida and the Southern District of New York to attend court, meet with counsel, and attend medical appointments, which we will address to the court in a separate sealed submission. What type of medical condition does he have? We don't know about him attending no appointments. What's he got going on? Don't be trying to pull no Suge Knight shit. Y'all remember Suge Knight? They locked his ass up. That nigga tried to say he had some type of medical condition. I can't be in here, man. Y'all not feeding me well enough. Hey. No, nigga. You should have thought about that before you ran that nigga over. Diddy? It's crazy. Y'all are witnessing the same fate. Bad Boy and Death Row. What names? Niggas thought it was just titles. Okay. Where do we go from here? Let me see. Where I stop. Mr. Combs' passport was surrendered to his counsel on April 1st, 2024. His counsel advised the prosecutors of this fact in an email dated the same day. Counsel will provide this passport to pretrial services. So his passport has been forfeited, so he cannot leave the country. The passports of the following family members who have already surrendered their passports to counsel after the raids: his mother, Janice Combs, Chance Combs, Jesse Combs, Delilah Combs, and Love Combs. All of them have surrendered their passports. None of them will be able to leave the country. So that's what they're proposing to the feds, that he could bond himself out $50 million so that he can have some form of freedom while, awaiting trial and all of these different things. And this is all of his collateral. His home, his mother's home, his passport, and the passports of his close family members. Okay? And I believe those are his children in that last section that I read. Woo, shit. I think that may be all I have about Diddy specifically. Okay. But let me just do a once over here. Here's what Charlemagne had to say. Can't really use Charlemagne as a reliable resource these days. He be saying some wild shit. He might be in one of these clips for all we know.
Yeah, racketeering and sex trafficking. If he gets racketeering and sex trafficking for freak offs, there will be others involved.
Yes.
Like, if you ever ran a train with Diddy, you're probably going to jail.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying, that, that's possibly on those cameras, because he had cameras in the crib. So
Man.
people are thinking that maybe there'll be other people involved.
If you ever been
on those
butt naked,
cameras.
if you ever been butt naked anywhere with Diddy, or half butt naked with Diddy, and there was some women around or some men around that he told you were part of the party, you're probably going to jail.
Half butt naked is insane. All right.
If you possibly on any of those tapes, like Envy just said, that they seized from that house,
That's right.
you're probably going to jail when they start throwing that word racketeering around.
But we'll see what happens.
Hell, if you walked in a room and saw Diddy in there smashing Carl Winslow, allegedly.
What?
If Diddy flew Carl out, you might be going to jail.
Can we okay.
Why you gonna throw Carl out there like that?
We going
Carl.
We'll be back with more, guys.
I'm just saying that racketeering
pack it
ain't
up
no joke.
for
No,
Carl.
it's not.
Pack it up for
All
Carl.
right. When we come back, we got front page news, and then EVE will be joining us. Eve will be in the building, so don't move. It's the Breakfast.
Yeah, racket.
Woo! Causing a racket. Man. We got Diddy going down. We got Kevin Loud's mysteriously leaving WMG all of a sudden. Well, I'm not going to throw him in there with none of this, but it's a lot going on in the game right now, man. I reported earlier about how the labels are consolidating, dropping acts, dropping employees, dropping everybody. I wonder how many people were on these films dropping draws. Goodness gracious. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. Once again, much love and respect to those of y'all that have ordered your Southside Nolan CDs. I will be shipping those out this week. Thank you to everybody who's been tuning in and subscribing to the channel, sharing the videos. I greatly appreciate y'all. Y'all have no idea. We're closing in on that 15K. Can't wait. Next milestone is going to be 20. Once again, can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. We're only growing. We're only going up. Much love and respect. I'm going to catch y'all in a little bit. Be sure to stream Big Dog on your way out. I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Yeah, king of my city in cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some batteries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. When I catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.